How are you guys? We are continuing our discussion about the Mishnah in Berachot, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Daled, about the Berachot of Kriyat Shema. We've already started learning the Mishnah. At this point, you should know the first part, the Reisha. B'shacha mevarech shtayim. In the morning, b'shachrit, we make two brachot, lifneha, beforehand, before Kriyat Shema. V'achat la'achareha, and one afterwards. Be'erev, ba'arvit, in Mariv, night. Shtayim lifneha, v'shtayim la'achareha. Two beforehand and two afterward. Achat aruka, v'achat katsara. One is long and one is short. What we're going to do right now is discuss, first of all, some ideas about why we're making brachot before Kriyat Shema. Why did Chazal find it necessary to write these, to institute them, to be part of tefillah? And what does it mean aruka? And what does it mean katsara? What does it mean long? What does it mean short? I would have thought long means long, short means short. We're going to see that's not the case. Then we're going to have some fun looking for these brachot in your own Sidurim and figuring out what they are before moving on to the Seifa. When we say Shema, which is a mitzvah to do, in the beginning of the day, the end of the day, in the morning, at night, b'shachrit, ba'arvit, we're doing something called Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shemayim. Kabbalat means to accept. Ol is the rulership, the sovereignty, the reign, the dominion that Hashem is running things. Malchut Shemayim is the kingship of heaven, the royalty of heaven. That Hashem is the king. Hashem rules everything. Hashem runs everything. We say, "V'ahavta Hashem Elokecha." We love Hashem because He's the king. He is ruling everything. Just think about a moment where it was so clear to you that there was Hashem, that He was running things, that you wanted to be good because of that. That feeling is Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shemayim many times. That it's just accepting. I want to live my life as a good Jew according to the Torah. However, in order to do that, to Makabal Ol Malchut Shemayim, to really accept it properly, you can't just jump in. You can't just decide, all right, done. I decided to be Makabal Ol Malchut Shemayim right now. It doesn't really work that way. You have to work into it. The way I like to think of it is a warm-up. Right? The brachot are that warm-up. The brachot get us into the mindset, get us into the kavanah, the focus of being makabel ol malchut shemayim. Right? When we get ready for our day, Shema is the big mitzvah. We're starting our day off by saying, this is who I want to be, and we're ending it saying, this is who I hope I was, and who I hope to be tomorrow. But to do that, it's a real spiritual experience. It's a real connection. You can't just jump in. You got to warm up. Just like at a big game, a basketball game, or baseball game, or whatever game it is. If you just decide to run onto the field and start playing, your muscles would cramp up. You could get hurt. You wouldn't really be ready yet. You wouldn't have a good shot. You need to warm up. Professional sports teams do this. We do this in gym class. Everyone does this. Chazal realized, our rabbis realized, for Shema, to really flex our spiritual muscles and to really do the Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shemayim properly, we need to warm up. We had to say brachot that awaken in us certain feelings of love, certain feelings of awe, that's ava, v'yira, how to properly respect Hashem, appreciate Hashem, and be ready to accept Him as our king, as our melech. Similarly, we do a cool down. Now, the cool down here is not just easing your body back in so you don't get a cramp. I mean, obviously, that would just be for sports. Here it's really transitioning, going from Shema and that level of love that comes with the Shema, to Shemona Esrei, which is a different type of tefillah, which we'll talk about later in the year. That transition happens with the brachot, right? The Shtayim lifneha b'shachrit and arvit, Achat la'achrecha b'shachrit and Shtayim achrecha be'arvit. We're now going to take a look at some of those before you go look through the Siddur and find it yourself. But before we do, we have to define two terms that are mentioned in the Mishnah. Achat aruka v'achat katsara. Now, it should be noted, this is really talking about the brachot lifnei Kriyat Shema, the ones before Kriyat Shema, not the ones achrei, although we're going to see that do plug into these categories. Aruka literally means long. If you look at some of the brachot in the Siddur, they're very, very long. However, the word long and the word short are a little bit like misnomers. They don't really mean long and short. They mean that it's designed in a way that is complete, aruka, like the whole thing is there, or katsara, it's a abridged version, it's not totally there. A bracha aruka is a bracha that begins with the phrase Berachot Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam. And it also ends with Berachot Hashem. The beginning part is the Pticha, is the opening, and the last part is the Chatima, the sealing, the closing. You open up the bracha by saying Berachot Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam, whatever the bracha is. You go through however many paragraphs around that. Now, a bracha aruka could be one paragraph, it could be 6. That doesn't matter as much as the fact that it starts with Berachot Hashem and then ends with Berachot Hashem, whatever that line is. The opposite, a katsara, doesn't necessarily mean that it's short. It could be pretty long bracha. Think about Tfilat HaDerech, parts of Berachot Hamazon. Those would be Berachot Katsara, but they're actually pretty long, as opposed to other brachot, which are technically aruka, but are really short. A bracha Katsara, in the tactical sense that we're working with in the Mishnah, is a bracha that begins with some other words. It does not begin Baruch Atah Hashem. However, it does end Baruch Atah Hashem. It has whatever words the theme of the bracha talks about them and goes through them, and then it ends with the chatima. There is no pticha of a bracha. There's no opening of a bracha, but there is a sealing. There's a closing with a bracha. I happen to have a picture here, so I'll use this as an example. The first bracha, Berachat Hamazon, is aruka. It starts with Berachot Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Hazan et Ha'olam Kulo B'Tuvo V'chein B'Chesed V'Rachamim, and then it continues, and then it ends Berachot Hashem Hazan et Hakol. The second bracha, which is actually longer than the first bracha, is a bracha katsara, is a short quote unquote bracha. It does not begin with Berachot Hashem. It begins with Noda Lecha Hashem Elokeinu. And at the end says Berachot Hashem Haaretz V'Al Hamazon. Third bracha, Katsara. The fourth bracha is a little more complicated, a little more tricky. It's also Katsara, even though it starts with Berachot Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Hakel Avinu Malkeinu Adirenu, but it does not end Berachot Hashem. V'Rachamim V'Chayim V'Shalom Mikol Tov Mikol Tuv Li'olam Ayachzarenu. Does not end with any Baruch Hashem. That is a Baruch Katsara. The Mishnah tells us in the Berachot of Kriyat Shema, Lifnei Kriyat Shema, Achat Aruka Ve'achat Katsara. There's one long one and one short one. So let's take a look at the first bracha, and you're going to find the rest of them yourself. The very first bracha, right after Baruch Hu, in the Siddur it starts Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Hashem HaMvarach, Baruch Hashem HaMvarach Le'olam Va'ed. We say that by the minyan. Right after that, we start Berachot Kriyat Shema. Starts Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Yotzer Or V'Rechoshech Oseh Shalom V'Rei Et HaKol. This is a pasuk from Tanakh, very similar to a pasuk from Tanakh. It's literally Yotzer Or. He creates Or, V'Rechoshech, and he creates darkness. Oseh Shalom V'Rei Et HaKol. He makes shalom in the world, and he creates everything. The theme of this bracha is about all the things Hashem creates, all the amazing things in the stars and space and in the world and the malachim, the angels who sing praise. We go through all these different things, just how wondrous the world really is, how incredibly strong and powerful Hashem is. This whole section, all of this is the one bracha. This one happens to be a bracha rucha. It ends Berachot Hashem Yotzer Hamarot. It happens to be, starts with Baruch Hashem, it ends with Baruch Hashem. It is Aruka, but it happens also to be very long, literally long. Inside of this bracha, There are multiple themes. We talk about Hashem himself. We talk about some of the things he does. The malachim that sing his praise. Kedusha, kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. Hashem, Safakot, Malok ha'aret kvodo, and Baruch kavod Hashem mimkomo. And then, after this whole first section, it continues, Lechel Baruch, in this section over here. That is a continuation of this one long bracha that ends Berachot Hashem Yotzer HaMa'arot. Generally speaking, we call, kind of like the Torah of a Mishnah, we call the bracha either the first few words that it says or the last few words, whichever is going to be clearer as to which we're talking about. So, for example, for this bracha, you could say Yotzer Or is usually how it's called, how I'm calling it here. You could say Yotzer HaMa'arot, although I don't think people usually do that. The next bracha you can see is over here. I'm not going to say what that is. It's going to be your task, although it's pretty clear. We're going to go through the Siddur now and find the different brachot, what they're called, how they begin, how they end, maybe find some themes about what they are. So right now, we're going to go and you're going to get a Siddur after I complete these instructions. You're going to pick up a Siddur. Make sure it is this one, the Yitzchak Yair. It should not be another one, otherwise the pages are not going to be correct and your answers might not be correct. I'm trying to help you by making sure it's clear, but you have to have the right Siddur there. Oftentimes in shul, they announce the page number. Sometimes I have a different Siddur than they do, and I'm like, that's the page number if you're in that Siddur. It doesn't help me at all. This is the Siddur we're using for this. This is where the page numbers are. The Mishnah lists these brachot. Your task is now to find the brachot. I did one of them for you. We're going to do it again now, but you're going to take the Siddur, and we're going to go through Shacharit. You can use the table of contents to find it. You'll notice in the table of contents, it doesn't actually give you the pages for the brachot Kriyat Shema. It just gives Kriyat Shema. That's because Kriyat Shema really is the main focus here. The brachot are the warm-up and the cool-down. You're going to go through and answer the questions here on the Ed puzzle about what the phrases are. Now, they're going to be multiple choice here. For any quiz or tests, you're going to need to be able to write them out yourself and find them. That is going to be part of this. No, it's not really the Mishnah, but it's the tefillah related to the Mishnah. Here it's going to be multiple choice. Otherwise, it's very difficult to type. And we're going to go through this. You're working on your own. If you have any questions, you may raise your hand and I'll help, but you should not be working with partners for this. You're working on your own. If I mention there's a specific exception, it may be fine. You're working on your own. B'hatzlacha, please raise your hand if you have any questions. First step would be to open up your table of contents, the tochen. Like I said, it only mentions Kriyat Shema, does not mention the brachot. So I'm going to tell you, it starts right after Baruch Hu, which is on page 34. Baruch Hu, over here. Right over here on the next page is going to be the beginning of that. So for Shachrit, we have the first bracha, which begins on Dafim 35 to 36. This bracha is about the creation of the world, how Hashem runs the world, and continues to create the world, how He is really renewing it at all times. It's a very amazing, inspiring bracha. It really awakens awe in you of how amazing the world is. The second bracha for Shachrit talks about how much not only Hashem loves us, we should love Hashem, getting us ready for that love aspect of Kriyat Shema. Talks about the Torah, how we want to learn Torah, we want to keep the mitzvah. We ask Hashem for the opportunity to be able to do that. Third bracha begins immediately after Kriyat Shema and leads up to Shemona Esrei. I want you to think. It's about leaving Mitzrayim, awakening ourselves up to this thinking that we're free, kind of like on Pesach. Is this a bracha katsara or arucha? Think about it. The brachot of Arvit follow a similar pattern of the first one on page 114. Second, again about love on 114, 115. Third, again about leaving Egypt. And fourth.